Hello, my darlings. I'm Seren Briar, and welcome to BiteNotes, the recap show for the Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle ATL by night. Tonight, we look back at Season 4, Chapters 7 and 8. Now, let's sit back, relax, and recap a vampire story. Chapter 7, Burn It All Down. When the shepherds wake up for the evening, Mark is already sitting in the living room, glued to the news. The historic concert venue, the Tabernacle, exploded not long after sundown. It's unclear whether the cause was supernatural or not. Pippa, covered in soot and clearly rattled, has Sybil meet her in a parking lot. Pippa was sleeping in her car near the Tabernacle when it blew up. She texts all her contacts to find out who's still alive. Some of them reply, but no one knows what happened. After checking in with Aaron and his coterie that it's okay, Sybil brings Pippa to the shepherd's house. Aaron, Anton, Thomasina, and Melisande are waiting for them. Pippa, still shaken and a little hysterical, explains what little she knows. In her panic, she forgets to take off her rosary this time, and Anton quickly clocks it. Alpha calls Mel and asks if the shepherds can go down to the Tabernacle and take a look around. Once again, the cameras in the area were out. Melisande agrees, and they bring Sybil and Pippa along, not wanting to leave the girls in their haven. Aaron learns from Alejandro that the Tabernacle wasn't on the Second Inquisition's radar or payroll. Once at the site, Melisande uses Majesty to convince the cops and the onlookers that she's a special detective here with her squad. She orders them to sit on the curb and wait for an hour while they look around. None of them will remember this. With his forensic expertise, Aaron finds evidence of multiple different accelerants and a lot of ash, more than there should be. A surprising number of personal items are scattered around. Anton uses Spirit's touch on a hairbrush and gets a glimpse of what transpired immediately before the explosion.
You hold onto the hairbrush and you get an image of a woman with longer hair, brushing her hair out. Someone nearby calls her Cora. She has a venture symbol on the lapel of her shirt. It is a purple silk shirt. She seems joyous, happy, pretty calm. And then a loud noise and fear. And if you could also give me intelligence plus awareness.
I should be fine. Is this something I can rouse ahead of time, or is this on the spot?
No. This is for details.
No worries. 5 successes.
The purple silk shirt that she's wearing and the people around her are also wearing purple silk shirts. And it's the same shirt that you saw peppered throughout Little Trouble.
It appears that the Tabernacle was some kind of Sabbat nest. Melisande talks to some of the cops outside and discovers that they found a strange symbol in the rubble. It's the spiked Ankh of the Sabbat. As Alpha arrives outside with Dot and Mooney, Anton draws attention back to Pippa's rosary and presses her about what she really knows. Alpha convinces the police that he's another detective, and this was the work of some kind of cult. Anton and Aaron usher Pippa and Sybil out into an adjacent parking lot before the prince can see them. Alpha thinks the perpetrator of the explosion could be a new cell of anarchs. He thinks that should be pretty easy to handle, but wonders how Anarchs knew there were Sabbat here before the Camarilla did. Mooney plans to cover this up by doctoring some paperwork to tie the tabernacle to a Pentex shell corporation. The Garu will keep an eye on the wreckage until everything is settled. While Melisande and Thomasina are handling things inside, Anton extends his shadow toward Pippa and begins to harshly interrogate her. Pippa, who's been through a lot tonight already, is immediately defensive. Anton, giving in to his paranoias and his compulsive need to know everything, demands to know who her friends at the wrestling event were. Pippa's upset and already traumatized, but does seem to be hiding something. Sybil steps in, warning Anton to step back before she makes him.
I have had too many coincidences of people being in strange places, acting strangely, with strange things on them, and I do not like not having the information that I need. So I'm asking, and I am asking because in the past I would not have asked.
Well, I'm glad that you're asking, and I understand your distrust. I'm a little confused here as well. But there is no space in the middle of this crime scene for you to start laying down the law.
The other option is I give it to the prince and he decides. I am choosing a nicer path, believe it or not.
Would not push it.
As I said, I'm choosing a nicer path, believe it or not. By
And
giving
I
her a
am
chance
now too.
to talk.
So let's let her talk and give her some space before I make you give her some space.
Sybil can also see that something's off, but gives Pippa a gentler chance to explain herself. Pippa, overwhelmed with Sybil's friendship and kindness, takes off her red bandana and unrolls it to reveal a dagger print. Some of the people at Little Trouble had similar bandanas. That's what her pack, the Rogues, wear. Pippa has heard of Anton. In the Sabbat, he's known as a king killer. This time, she asks Sybil to hang back with Aaron so she can talk to Anton alone. Sybil and Aaron reluctantly give the Tremere their privacy. Pippa was turned in 1995 and has lived a shockingly long time for a Tremere in the Sabbat. Sybil is genuinely her friend, and Pippa doesn't want her to end up conditioned by the Camarilla. As Pippa opens up more, Anton threatens her less. Pippa doesn't know Bishop Lydia's ultimate plan really was sleeping in her car when the blasts went off, and has no idea who did this. Thomasina and Melisande approach everyone else with the update from Alpha, Dot, and Mooney, and Aaron notices the sky is growing lighter. Pippa and Anton are still deep in their conversation, and it's growing heated again.
She's different. She doesn't know anything. She's funny.
You speak of Sybil.
Yeah.
Quite unique. I find that the newer generations tend to be...
She hasn't been conditioned by the tower yet. That's what's so good about her.
or jaded by anybody else, including her own clan.
You can see how she is, how your thing is the poison, right? You see that, right? And that's why we're here. To take this back.
My thing. You don't know what we're doing here, Atlanta, do you? No, you wouldn't. How would you?
What, the shepherds?
All of us.
That's a grand philosophy of existence question that I can't even get into.
All of us, the Camarilla, you in Atlanta, you have absolutely no idea. You only have the idea that you have been told by your bishop and conditioned through bishop after bishop after bishop of how things are, and do not understand that every city is quite unique.
Don't talk to me about conditioning. You pyramid piece of shit.
Believe it or not, in some capacities, 1999 was one of the best things that happened to me. The problem with the pyramid, it's very heavy at the bottom.
Thomasina, Mel, and Aaron all warn them that dawn is impending, but Anton explodes with anger and shadow. He wants to finish his conversation. Anton offers Pippa a choice. She can run back to her bishop, or she can help the shepherds figure out who did this. With no word from the rest of her pack, Pippa takes his hand, and everyone finally gets in the car and speeds home. When they pull up to the house, Jackson is waiting for them on the front steps, holding a cloth-wrapped box. His clothes are singed and covered in soot, and he looks determined and angry. Chapter 8: The Scorpion and the Frog. With sunrise quickly approaching, Sybil and Pippa left for their own safe haven. Jackson slept on the shepherd's couch, Mark watching him intently through the whole day. The box that Jackson brought is Lydia's hard drive. He's the one who blew up the tabernacle. Jackson never really believed in the Sabbat. He just joined a group so he and Raphael would stop getting run out of every city. Jackson is fucking pissed at Lydia, and he's ready to kill her tonight. Anton copies the hard drive onto his computer, texting Dot so she can access the information remotely. Jackson's pack is dead. Lydia hurt them so badly and irreparably that Jackson mercy killed them all. Tonight, Lydia should be in her haven, on the top floor of Hotel Claremont. The shepherds agree to help him, and Anton, Aaron, Thomasina, and Melisande prepare to try and infiltrate the Sabbat. Jackson leads the shepherds through the only entrance to Lydia's haven, where she greets them and praises Jackson for bringing her some new recruits. Everyone plays along, adopting different identities and cover stories. Thomasina finds cages containing 4 twisted lumps of flesh that were probably once people. Lydia plays along for a while, but puts a stop to the charade when Thomasina asks to meet the others. She sends a mass text to her entire congregation, calling a blood hunt on the shepherds of the Camarilla.
And your phone does buzz, Jackson. It is a mass text to the entire congregation. And it says, "Congregation, consider this a blood hunt on the shepherds of the Camarilla. First pack to kill them will be rewarded with powers beyond your wildest dreams. Good luck, make me proud." And Lydia just grins, her toothy grin, and goes, "Y'all better start running."
They run for Old Fourth Ward Park, where the Blackjacks pack catches up with them. Jackson plunges his claws deep inside one of them when Anton uses... No! Jesus. Why? Why is it called that?
Ball's caress?
B-A-A-L, Baal, the demon.
Yeah. Okay.
But everybody makes the joke because
Cool.
it's funny.
Okay.
Jackson plunges his claws deep inside one of them. When Anton uses Ball's caress on her face, Jackson rips out her spine. Eren shape changes into a python and holds another one tight, while Thomasina drinks her dry. Melisande rips the third one's head off with her bare hands. Jackson and the shepherds sprint for the Wellstar Medical Center and take a moment to catch their proverbial breath. Anton gets a text from Dot telling him to be careful who he trusts, with a wink.
Now let's go. I'll remember that for the future. With
And
a smiley face.
The response you get back was, "Thanks for everything."
Thank me in person when I see you.
And you get back another winky face.
Phone away and I'll put the phone away and go. I will save my told you so. And simply let you know that it was Dot Matrix that sold us out.
She's made her move.
This is it.
Dot Matrix is a traitor who sold them out to the Sabbat. Anton immediately texts the rest of the court before throwing away his phone. Melisande throws hers away as well, and Thomasina waits a bit before doing the same. Laughter echoes through the halls of the hospital, and the remaining members of Pippa's pack, the Rogues, approach. Shadowy tentacles emerge from the darkness and grab Thomasina, Anton, and Melisande. Another rogue throws a bottle into the air and shoots it, burning the shepherds with acid. The third, the lost child or Jenna's cousin, shape changes into a large, grotesque tiger. Jackson turns into a cat himself and goes for the tiger's throat, but overshoots. Eren rips out the heart of the La Sombra in the shadows, and the tentacles dissipate. Anton mesmerizes the thin blood not to move before drinking her dry. Jackson rips out the tiger's hamstrings with his teeth, while Mel tears out its throat. They take off again, Jackson staying a cat so he can be somewhat stealthier. As they run towards downtown, the Moonrunners, a pack that specializes in maxing out their celerity, catches up with them. Jackson leaps onto the back of one and drains her. Melisande clotheslines another, which Eren finishes off. A third Moonrunner catches Thomasina by the throat, but Jackson rips him apart. A fourth one strikes Anton in the chest, but the wards on Anton's shirt prove extremely effective and terrify him. Already scared, Melisande uses Daunt to convince the Moonrunner that it's probably smarter at this point if he takes his own life. He does, catching up with the front side of a MARTA train and splattering on the tracks. They make it to the parking decks of the CNN Center. Motocross engines roar below them, getting closer and louder. In preparation for the gladiators, Anton pulls off his gloves. His arms are covered from the elbows down in blood. When the gladiators come into view, on motorcycles and brandishing spiked bats, the blood on Anton's arms ignites. Seems as though the flamethrower was just a cover story. Jackson, no longer a cat, tackles one of the gladiators off their bike, taking a bat to the chest in the process. Melisande body slams the front wheel of another bike, flipping its rider. Eren plunges his claws through that gladiator's helmet. One swings a bat at Thomasina. She jumps up and leaps off of it, and Anton grabs the gladiator with both arms, lighting them on fire. Anton takes some fire to the face himself and chomps down on the gladiator's wrist, drinking them down. Jackson pulls the spiked bat out of his chest and slams it into another rider. A burst of oblivion shadow fills the parking deck. Eren makes his way through it and claws through the La Sombra's heart, dropping the darkness. Thomasina goes for the last remaining gladiator. With the visor of their helmet up, she can see that this is one of Tabitha's secretaries. She diablerizes her, ripping out her heart and eating it. With all the gladiators disposed of, everyone runs out into the parking lot between the CNN Center and Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Walking toward them is Bishop Lydia and 25 other people. Lydia's disappointed in Jackson, and she's done playing nice.
You know, had you followed through on that little lie, and you'd all be better off right now, actually. You have no idea of what the Sabbat offers. Jackson, you did. And to say I'm disappointed would be an understatement, honestly. We gave you everything you wanted and needed. I gave you everything you wanted and needed. A home, a family, especially one that treated you with respect. Didn't go running you out of town.
Gloves come off.
But when it came to sacrifices that needed to be made, you couldn't handle it and ran straight into the arms of the Camarilla. The very people who harmed you so. Honestly, the hypocrisy is disgusting.
You're disgusting.
Thank you. I take it as a compliment. Well, I don't see any reason to play nice anymore.
No.
You bombed our home. We're allowed to fight back, and oh, are we gonna fight back? Tell Alejandro I miss him. And she disappears back into the shadows, and you are left with 25 people.
Anton reflexively lights his arms on fire again. The people Lydia brought all drop bottles onto the ground, and a huge bonfire of flame crawls towards the shepherds and Jackson. They run, Jackson furtively looking for a way out. He rips open a loading bay door and yells for the shepherds to run inside before slamming it shut behind them. We end the season with Jackson, Eren, Anton, Thomasina, and Melisande in a dark hallway, Anton's arms still ablaze, with more fire behind them and the unknown ahead. Thank you for tuning in to BiteNotes. Remember, liking, commenting, and subscribing does not violate the Masquerade. You can view full episodes of ATL by Night on our YouTube channel. We stream Tuesdays at twitch.tv/ATL by Night. Remember to support us on Patreon and follow us on Twitter. Until next time, good night.